Paul Scholes was a donkey.
I've had it once, the dressing room, where the dressing room did have a dip towards the manager. And that was at Fulham with...
Wow.
He's lost the dressing room.
Has anyone ever lost the office? I don't give a f***, mate. I've signed for life.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll be gone way before me. Hello and welcome to another episode of That Peter Crouch podcast. It's me, Peter Crouch, the notorious SID, and Chris Start with me. Is everyone all right?
Yeah, it feels like it's been ages since... I know we was in last week recording the pod, but it feels like it's been longer. I was in Ireland for a few days last week celebrating a friend's 40th, which was quite heavy.
Was it?
It was really good, really good. But I was in today and I said to the guys, I was like, feels like it's been a long time. I don't know, does it feel like the same for you? Or?
It does a bit, We
How's
come
your back?
It's still not great, mate. Not ideal. Okay. But then again, I rested it all week and had lots of treatment. I've had physio and I've been a chiropractor and stuff. I've seen lots of different people. Then I went and played golf for 2 days. Do
you think this might be the issue?
Maybe, yeah. I think it's getting to the point where, I think the issue is, let's be honest, I shouldn't be hunched over a club kind of hitting balls for 4.5 hours.
Every day?
Not every day, but 2 days in a row. I didn't prepare correctly as well because I drank quite a bit as well. I was in Loch Lomond.
Was it worth it?
Oh my God, what a place. I have to say, if you ever get the opportunity to play at Loch Lomond, it's fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah. I met a couple of people that I think we should get on the podcast as well. Ooh. Yeah. James MacArthur and Alan McGregor.
Oh, great.
Rangers legend.
Good lads.
One of the best people I've ever met, Alan McGregor. I think he was my partner. And obviously James MacArthur as well. But Alan McGregor was my partner, so I spent a lot of time with him.
Yeah.
1 in a million, I'd say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I got forwarded something on social about fines. I thought we could just quickly address it because I know we've spoken about it on the podcast before, but it's the fines that Gerrard gave when he was at Villa.
Yeah.
I just wanted to run you through a couple of them, okay? Because someone messaged me this and was like, interested to get the boys' views. So there's a lot of them are pretty standard. So they're kind of late for training, £500, late for meeting, £200 a minute. Gets expensive by the minute.
£200 a minute?
Yeah. Is this kind of how it was for both of you?
What happens if you forget and you don't turn up for 2 hours?
Wow. There's got to be a time, there's got to be a limit, or there's got to be like a 10-minute.
Oh, yeah?
Max.
Do you reckon? Oh. It's not listed. Late for coach, £200 a minute. Wrong attire on match day, £100 an item.
Wow.
Leaving plates, cups at dining table, £100 an item. I thought these were standard clauses.
I think they're standard clauses, but
the money,
the amounts are
big.
I think I've seen this before, and I didn't know whether it was true or not, purely because of the amounts.
Right.
Because that is extortionate.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the bit I wanted to discuss is the bit at the bottom, because I wanted to see, maybe this will help explain whether this is true or not, because you know I'm a bit crouchy. It says at the bottom here, there's kind of these extra ones under the list. It says, if sent off, have to take the team for a meal within 4 weeks of the red card.
Oh, that's nice.
That felt like an unusual
I like that.
Yeah, I like that.
What happens if you it's a professional foul, that saves your team? Maybe it might save you a point and you still have to take them out for dinner?
You discuss it over the meal, don't you?
Maybe you'll chip in if you think, you know what, you helped us out there. Let me put some money into this.
Yeah, the team, it puts it back on the team, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I like that one, yeah.
And then this is really interesting. Worst player in the small-sided games on MD1, as voted for by the winning team, will wear I was the worst trainer jumper the following week for the MD1.
Yeah, nice.
Can you explain that to me?
Yeah, we did that.
Yes, that's match day -1, I think. So the day before the game, which normally ends in, you do a few set pieces, don't we?
Yeah.
And then ends in like a 5-a-side, which 9 times out of 10 gets heated because everyone wants to win the 5-a-side. And then the worst player from that has to wear the jersey for the following Friday, isn't it? Before the next game, if that makes sense.
Right, so it's like a punishment.
I remember we did it at Stoke and Portsmouth. So Portsmouth was when we had the A-team car. We had the 3-wheeler. You had to drive it in, and then you had to add something to the car. But we also had at Stoke, I remember it being pretty heated. So I remember on a Friday, if you give the ball away, someone would shout, "Oh, contender!" Yeah. Oh, he's got a massive chance. And then you'd be nervous. Next time you have the ball, you fucking better keep it. You know, if you give another one away or you miss a sitter, it's like, oh.
It was anything to deflect it away from you, wasn't it?
Deflect it.
So we had one at Villa, and it was just a yellow t-shirt. And it just had a load of stuff written on it. Donkey, like shit player, whatever. You know, just like horrendous stuff. And then literally after the session, Wally, the coach, would go around and just get a secret vote on his bit of paper, and then it was just voted for then, right? Voted for today. Sometimes you knew. Sometimes the dad would just go, "I was horrendous today, boys. Just give me it now. Don't even vote." And they'll just take it.
We've got to do merch. We've got to, it's been so long overdue on this podcast. Imagine us just putting shirts out, just a donkey shit player. That's it. What else was there, Sid? Was that
there was load of stuff written on it. Loads of stuff. I'll try and remember it. I'll message a few of the lads. It still might be going to Villa. I don't know.
Imagine donkey becomes the new Dunlop.
Donkey.
Probably a wrong comparison.
Donkey feels like it's gone out of fashion now. Like no one calls like it's usually a centre half, isn't it? Like no one calls a centre half now like he's a big old donkey. Yeah. Don't really have donkeys anymore.
Right, if I say football player, right, I'm gonna. It's like a word association. If I go donkey, what's the first player?
Tony Adams.
Tony Adams.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I mean that was harsh because harsh. That was early on in his career, wasn't it? And he scored a few OGs. I remember he made a few mistakes. But, you know, wasn't probably living his life correctly then either. Yeah. But he was Arsenal captain like 18. I mean, he was a great player, but he did make some high-profile mistakes.
Yeah.
Do you think it's about, you know how some words get sort of reclaimed and turned into a positive? Mm-hmm. For me, a donkey is a strong animal. Yeah. You know, it's actually a wise animal. It's a loved animal. What I'm saying is perhaps the word donkey can come back into football in a bit more of a positive connotation. That's definitely what you boys could achieve. Imagine singling out a player as a donkey.
Yeah, and going
but making it
positive.
Yeah.
Turn a negative into a positive. Like he's strong, he's well liked.
Yeah.
He's loyal.
Wise.
Joe, I think this is a challenge for Pete on TNT on the game day.
What, like, just so it comes back to me, I was going, like, Saliba today, I thought he was a donkey.
That's exactly it, mate. You've just got to get one in, just to start. It's like everything we've done on this podcast, from back stronger to Chumbawamba, like everything.
I think it's got legs.
It's a tough one because I think it could be taken the wrong way. If I'm honest.
No, I think it
could. The headline would be, but then once you go into it and go, the examples that you've just done.
Explain why a donkey is a negative. And I don't think anyone could come back at you.
Yeah. And then what I want it to get to.
What are strong, loyal, well liked?
Yeah, well, that's it. Pete's right. I think you've got to sort of nail the characteristics here to then be able to. So if we were to say, maybe in the last month, you know, who's donkey in Premier League, who's the best donkey in the Premier League? See what I mean?
Yeah. What would you say?
Yeah.
Well, like Gabriel and Saliba are the most talked about at the moment. I think Van der Ven, but you know, he's more like a stallion.
It's quite
donkey.
I
think donkeys. I mean, they kind of plot.
Donkeys are steady. That's the other thing. There's a steady consistency.
Very dependable.
Yeah.
Disciplined.
Disciplined.
Hardworking.
Yeah. Paul Scholes was a donkey.
Do you know if you clip this stuff up? You'll have people writing in, what is this nonsense?
No, we can't.
He wasn't a donkey.
No, we can't fear clickbait, right? Everything's too short and snappy. Now.
If we back it up,
if this is
I think Paul Scholes was one of the greatest donkeys of all time. Would you agree?
So hardworking, loyal, dependable.
Yeah.
You know what you're going to get.
Consistent. Everything.
No, I think
fan favourite.
I would say I'm more of a donkey than Paul Scholes.
Go on.
Although just like, you know, just steady, hardworking, durable.
Durable. Industrious.
Workmanlike. You can jump on my back and I'll just, I'll carry you through the shit.
Yeah. It's great. Great.
I think Scholes, he probably had a probably a little bit more je ne sais quoi.
Okay. Nice. Okay. Yeah. A little bit more.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll get you.
Okay. Well, let's see if we can make a bit of an effort to see if we can reclaim this word for a positive and then donkey merch.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ideally, imagine we sponsored a team, a football team, and the kit was manufactured by Donkey. That's where we need to get to. Donkey shin pads.
Oof. Mules old boys. Right, I just want to get into a couple of messages, lads, if you don't mind. Got one here from Franco. He says, all right, lads, when I was 11, I won a pair of football boots in a competition run by Bristol City to be presented for sponsorship reasons on the pitch at half-time. On the morning of the match, I received a phone call saying someone had dropped out of the half-time crossbar challenge and asked if I would like to take part. Despite the fact I could barely take a goal kick, 11-year-old me couldn't turn down the prospect of playing on the hallowed turf at Aston Gate. After receiving the boots at half-time, I decided it'd be a good idea to put them on for the half-time competition. The only trouble was they didn't fit, but there wasn't enough time for me to take them off before the competition began. I then proceeded to attempt to hit the crossbar from 30 yards. I could barely kick the ball 30 yards at the time. I completely scuffed the ball, which went far wider than higher. This caused 10,000 fans to shout "Way!" all around the ground. There was one attempt and one attempt only, so thankfully I didn't have a second chance to embarrass myself. I'm just glad this was 2010 and we didn't have cameras around the ground like we do now. At least there isn't footage of this, of me doing this for all of eternity. Love the pod. Highlight of the Wednesdays and Fridays.
I think those penalties sometimes are more pressure than what you boys are on in the game.
I think it's a bit harsh.
Yeah, I mean,
Because you get one chance you've often grown up in that venue, and
that's it. I think that's more of it, isn't it? We take it for granted, like going to a stadium every week, but for someone that goes every week, that's on the other side of them hoarding, so they literally be on that pitch to go, wow, I've got a chance here now. I've either taken a penalty or, I mean, that's a harsh one. That one though, 30 yards. 18-yard box, right? That's hard enough, for an 11-year-old. Yeah,
you're rarely warmed up. It's not like they've got strength and conditioning taking them through a pre-match warm up. I mean, maybe that's what should be happening on match days. You know, when the camera cuts and you see the players warming up, perhaps the people taking the half-time should be training with the team and just getting them going between the cones, you know.
I remember I was a ball boy at Chelsea when I was a kid. I must have been about 12, 13 or so. And I remember kind of before the game, Dennis Wise and like Andy Townsend used to take free kicks and they used to put all the ball boys in goal. Really? And it felt like that was our moment to shine. I remember I pinged one out to Dennis Wise, we went in goal. I saved a couple. And then I remember he wanted a ball and I pinged one and fizzed it really, really nice. And he'd give me like a little wink, like as if it was a good pass. And I was like so happy.
So this was before the game? So where the keepers go in?
You know, the keepers go in early.
Yeah.
And he said, right, so just before we go in, I want to take a few free kicks. And he just put us all in goal.
That's class.
Yeah, like, he'd usually pick one or two or something, or like, you get in goal. And you go in goal against Dennis Wise before the game started.
But look at that. That moment's inspired you, right? Yeah. And those sort of moments inspire. What I really feel here for Franco is it could be sliding doors, these moments, can't it? He's missed that. The crowd have all done that thing. He's hobbled off. Everyone else has gone home, forgotten about it. The game's gone on. We don't know where his life would have gone if he'd nailed that penalty.
Well, I mean, it's clearly affected him. It's 14 years later, he's writing into the podcast and he's talking about that moment.
But this Peter Crouch is where I think we can step in and help the guy.
I think he's a donkey.
I think we need to offer this donkey redemption. So here's a call out from that Peter Crouch podcast to Bristol City. Let him have another go.
Oh, yeah.
Let him have another go.
Let's get him some boots that fit.
Yeah.
Right, 30 yards out.
We're going to blame the boots. That was the problem before.
Get him 30 yards out and like imagine he pings the crossbar, turns round, you know, at the home end like that, like living a dream.
And look, we probably can't get there, but maybe we could do a little video for the screen, explain the situation, explain that he needs some support. This is redemption, you know, 15 years later or whatever it was.
Let's get him a jersey with Donkey 69 or Donkey 10.
Donkey 69. A totally unnecessary 69.
Yeah, but I think it adds to all the drama. Donkey 69. Franco, mate, I'm not sure if you want this, but it's happening. We'll get down to Aston Gate. We'll have a great time.
Yeah.
We'll have a great day.
Look, if we can get there, we should 100% do it.
Yeah.
But let's get this out of Bristol City and let's make some dreams happen.
Yeah,
got a
brilliant.
chance.
All right, just a quick one here from Richard. He just said, I've just listened to the episode where you boys talk about disc golf. Would love to get you guys out there playing. The beauty of the sport is it's base level. Anyone can play. It's often done as a social event with drinks in hand, everyone having a lot of fun. As competitive people, though, I'm sure you'll naturally gravitate towards the tournament end of things. The top level is, frankly, mind-blowing. And was immediately hooked me and tore me away from golf many years ago. I've swung a club 3 times in 17 years since finding disc golf.
Wow.
After previously playing golf 3 or 4 times a week.
Oh.
The addiction is real. We've got a couple of young players that throw discs upwards of 20 metres.
200?
200 metres, mate.
Oh, sorry, 200 metres.
20 metres would be just the end of the
Sorry, man. Upwards of 200 metres with accuracy to see it done in person is incredible. As athletes, I'm pretty sure we could get you close to this level within a year of focused practice and at least able to compete for the spot on the GB team. Anyway, let me know what you'd like to do if you'd want more info.
Firstly, what got me was base level sport. I don't think everyone can play it.
200 metres is far.
That is a long way. That's a long way. That was the first thing that jumped out at me. The second thing that jumped out at me, and I can see where he's going with this one, that obviously he was an avid golfer. He's obviously gone into this. He's hooked. We're avid golfers. I can't see myself getting hooked on this and then roping any of my mates into it going, Starkey, do you fancy Frisbee this Saturday?
Yeah, but I used to say the same about golf.
Mm.
But golf and Frisbee, come on.
No. The thing is, if I went to my mates and said, do you want to come and play Frisbee with me in the park? I would get absolutely
Yeah, but if you
hammered.
say it like that, you're going to get a giggle, aren't you?
Yeah.
But it's like, what I'm saying is if you say it in quite a serious way, you look at people
Disc
like...
golf. Call it disc golf.
Yeah, so you go to Gareth Bale and say, fancy a round. He'll go, all right, Boyle. And you say a bit of... What it needs is, I think, a few more celebrities and that getting involved
Backing
in the
it.
game. Yeah.
We could
It needs
be
that crossover.
We could possibly be
By celebrities, what I mean is like you're not professional golfers, but golf has now become, a lot of footballers play golf, and I think that's lent into the culture of golf in a different way.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just disc. It just sounds. It needs to be like, I don't know. If you had a WhatsApp group, Frizzers, so like up for Frizzers.
I worry you're trying to make it too.
I think it just sounds a little bit.
Yeah, but
Sounds like you could subscribe to that on Frizzers. Frizzers.com.
Wait, let's have a quick look. Does frizzers.com exist?
Frizzers.com.
Let's see what comes up.
Don't type it in, mate. It will crash.
There's sweets you can buy called frizzers.
Oh, well, okay. Well, I thought it was going to be a lot worse.
Too good to be true. Someone got that idea before me.
So you're not sort of treating it seriously enough at the moment.
I think it's what was it called? Disc. What was it called?
Disc golf.
Disc golf.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it just needs a bit jazzing up. Let's flambe it a bit. I think if it gets flambé, we can
Then you
get
can
it
take
going.
away. You're going a bit down the sort of 2020 route in the cricket or the 100. Do you know what I mean? There's something about keeping the integrity of.
Yeah, but don't keep. Don't, it's got to keep moving, isn't it?
You do.
Things evolve.
Yeah.
All right, should we get to
Maybe.
the pod?
Let's do it.
Right, lads, we're going to dig down to something today that I've been asked about recently, actually, and it's when a manager loses the dressing room.
Yeah.
Right. What does that actually mean? And have you been involved in it? I know I have. And I think there's lots of people mentioning various managers and he's lost the dressing room.
Yeah.
What does that mean? What do you think that means?
Effectively, it will take a long process in terms of games and training regimes.
Where the players don't trust the manager anymore.
Yeah.
They don't trust his methods, don't trust his training, don't agree with the team he's picking, the formations.
Yeah.
This is an advertisement from BetterHelp. Just because we can do it doesn't mean we should. We're much stronger and more effective when we have support. So why not build some into your life? BetterHelp makes that easier with online therapy that's affordable, flexible, and you can start the process in minutes. Be your best with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/crouch today to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/crouch for 10% off your first month.
But don't you think that phrase, because I've never really dug properly into the phrase, the idea that you've lost the dressing room suggests to me that there is a moment that it's tipped over. So it's almost straw that broke the camel's back. There is a point in time where a manager is walking into that dressing room and no one is responding to them.
Yeah, I don't think it's the whole lot. So when I said there in the open line there about it can happen straight away. So the only way I think it can happen straight away is, for instance, say a foreign manager come in that didn't speak a word of English and had a what do they call them? A translator. You could come out of that going, I'm not sure about this. Do you know what I mean? That
like early on.
So that straight away, that could just be one seed done straight away. And that could be only my only opinion or your only opinion. Other people might go, oh, Joe, I didn't mind it. But then when it then grows into then training regimes or every day and then performances, and then it's normally then a case of a 2 or 3 senior players would go, it's just not working, this is it. And then all of a sudden that conversation then just spreads, doesn't it, to more in-depth.
Explain it to me. How does in your experiences, where have you seen this start, and then how quickly does it ripple through?
I think a lot of the time, if you don't get key players and key characters on side, I think that's how it can spread quite quickly. Like if, for instance, if the captain's not happy, some of the big personalities in the dressing room, then you get the people kind of who go with the flow and go with what the consensus is. I think that's how you kind of lose it. I think you do, like as a manager, you need to get the big players on side, the big characters on side, and but yeah, I think it doesn't really matter as long as you're certainly winning games. That's it starts from losing a couple of games. Yeah. Players are very quick to not look at themselves, and they're very quick to try and look at other people and where else. Who's getting this right? Can't be me. And I think that is. I mean, I've seen it a lot, and there are times where, like, it makes me so angry because it's like, just because they're not playing or they're losing games, it's like, they're not looking at themselves. And I think that's happened. I remember there's a big question mark about Mourinho recently when, you remember in Chelsea, they were down at the bottom end of the league and then they bounced back straight away. I remember Leicester as well as Ranieri, wasn't it? Like, they won the league and then it was like, it was so bad. And there was a lot of question marks about some of the senior players in the team kind of going, we're not doing this anymore. It's like, they've down tools. And everyone goes, so he's lost the dressing room and down in tools. Like,
yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah, I think with the squad, you've got to remember you can't keep everyone happy, right? So there's always going to be the ones that are always coming on that Sunday or the Monday they're training and they're training on their own, and you got to try and keep them happy, keep them on side, which is always a hard one to do. The one where a manager takes out a few big figures in the dressing room, that happened at Fulham. So I've not really had it through my career. I've had it once. The dressing room, where the dressing room did have a dip towards a manager, and that was at Fulham with Felix Magath, because when he come straight in, he literally dropped Breda Hangeland, who was a big figure, was our captain, dropped Scott Parker as well, and I was like, oh my God, he gave me the captaincy.
How did you feel about that, Sid?
Well, that was hard because, and when I mean dropped them, they was training on a different pitch. Like, it was literally a case of, these are not in my plans for next season. Right, if we're going to stay up, these aren't my plans. I'm going to focus on this group alone. And it was a case of other senior players had to go, right, okay, you give me the captaincy. You try to sort of drive younger and control younger players to go, if we're going to get out of this, it's just going to be pure hard work. We're going to run until we can't run no more. And I don't think these older players can do it.
But should they have been in his plans? Was he coming in and getting rid of them to impose himself, do you think, on the dressing room?
I was shocked because I don't think that he thought that they was going to be a hindrance on the team, and I was shocked by it because I actually got on well with Felix Magath, right? So he seemed really stern and really hard faced, but he actually had a bit of empathy actually when you had one-on-one to him. So I remember sitting down in the office and I said to him, Gaffer, you need to get back. If we need to get out of this, you need to get back Breda Hangeland. You need to get back Scott Parker. These are the characters that we need in this dressing room to get out. And then when it comes to next season, whatever goes on, that's down to you and the club and them. But at the minute, I'm telling you now, and he said to me, but you will lose the captaincy. And I was like, I'll take that all day. I said, I'd give it to Brennan. Like, he can have it back. He was the club captain. So for him to come in and do that straight away, it scared a few, but then it was a case of, no, this is the wrong call. Like, so you need to Sidders, you need to go and have a word, or you need to something like that. And then all them little conversations, then it's like just a domino effect that then has to be said. That's why I had to go back to him and said, you need to get these back in.
What was he doing though, Sid? Like, do you think he was trying to make a statement with that? Because obviously knowing the players the players you just mentioned there that I know, like Scott Parker, Brent Hanglin, good lads, right? Good. They're not going to be, even if they're not playing, they're not going to be bad around the dressing room. They're still going to be really top pros, right?
Yeah.
So what was he trying to achieve there?
I have no idea. Whether he wanted a high intensity pressing team, like, and Scotty Parker was like it. Breda didn't have the pace, but he was still an imposing figure, a leader on the pitch. I don't really know the reason for it, but it was a big call to make early on.
Who was your manager before then?
It was, we had Martin Yole. And then, so the thing with Martin Yole was as well, and again, I think this comes with losing the dressing room. Upstairs kind of get, I say upstairs, like the chief exec or the board or the chairman, they'll get a gist of the vibe around the club, and they'll call sometimes a senior player. I remember them calling, I think they probably called Danny Murphy at the time, just to say, look, what's the feeling at the moment in that dressing room? Is this something that we can get out of, or is this maybe something that we might need to change? Which probably goes on quite a lot. It happens at most clubs, I'd say. Just to get a vibe of, and if sometimes they might go, no, listen, this is just a little blip. We can get out of this. So it could be a case of that. I think the general consensus is he's not going to get this dressing room back. Because that's another issue, is it? If a manager does lose a dressing room, more often than not, they don't get enough time to win a dressing room back. I don't know many managers that get a dressing room back on board.
No. I think once you kind of lose a lot of the key people involved in it, then I think you lose it. But the other thing is as well, though, is like, you know, the ones who aren't playing always try and bring the manager down. You know, you're like, selfishly, they'll always try and put. And I made it a conscious effort never to do anything like that. No. I mean, you did. I remember you were at Stoke, you weren't playing, right? You never once gone around, lads, I don't think he, don't like this manager. Yeah. Just accept the decision that you're not playing, you know?
I can't. This is so annoying because I must have been pissed. But I met someone recently, and we was talking about you boys and talking about the podcast, and he was saying that the thing about Crouchy is he'd never heard you say anything bad about anyone in his presence, and what you're just saying there, and I'm aware a lot of footballers listen to this podcast as well. It might be an interesting lesson or an insight, and a byproduct of kind of having that attitude when it comes to managers and criticising them to other players, to avoid that situation. Because if you're seen as a professional throughout it, that must be putting you in such good stead with all these different managers. The fact that you could go and talk to a manager about those kind of things probably comes from the fact that you haven't sort of bitched or outed.
But you know what? These things go round, right? Managers speak after every single game, right? So if you are behaving like that, right, to this manager, every single manager in the Premier League that manager has a glass of wine with after the game, right? How's he like, you know, what's he like? They all talk, right? And if your attitude is, you know, he's a clown, we need to get rid, and that's going back to the manager, and then he's telling other managers, it goes round, and football is a community, and everyone talks, about each other. Yeah, and I think you start doing that with one. Then it might be you might have done it twice. Then you're like, no one wants to touch you.
That's hard if you're not playing, but if you're disciplined in that way, you're saying it's probably a good move.
You just work harder and get back in the team. You know what I mean? That's all you got to do, isn't it?
Because a manager, when he goes to speak to another manager, or even he might socialise with other managers out of football, they might go, like, Sid's ain't playing in your team.
Yeah, what's he
going
like?
on? What's he like? Is he down? And then he might judge, we're just playing so well, I just can't get him in. But he's been spot on, like week in, week out. And he's like, do you reckon that he could come and do a job? It's like little things like that just like escalate.
As I got older, I remember being kind of involved in some of these because you kind of more the managers and coaches' ages. And I ended up being privy to some of these conversations. It's like, so-and-so's not playing. What's he like? Don't touch him. Yeah. Don't touch him with a barge pole. Attitude stinks.
And they're
terrible round the place. Like,
But you're saying the same way players are thinking of things in a selfish point of view. I guess managers are the same in the sense they don't want players that are going to cause them upset for their own job, right? And their own job security.
yeah, and also you get one of those players in the dressing room who's not playing, comes in on a Saturday and wants the team to lose because he's not playing, because if he loses, he might have a chance of playing. Listen, inwardly, you might not want them to lose, but you might be thinking, I hope he plays shit so I can get back in. And that's the nature of football. But to openly say it and talk about it and, want the manager to get the sack is outrageous.
Well, linked to that then, do you think the idea of losing the dressing room is a kind of concept that happens more and more as time has gone on, given that managers, would you say, are a bit more disposable at football clubs now, and therefore players know they've got this outlet that if the results fuck up after a bit, they're going to go?
I've seen a player.
1,000,000%.
I don't know if I've mentioned on a previous podcast. I've seen a player in a meeting say to the manager, "You can say what you want. I'll be here longer than you. I've got a 4-year contract."
What do you even say to that?
Like, imagine that.
Imagine saying that to Fergie.
Can you seriously though?
I couldn't believe it. I was
Wow.
like, I couldn't. And the actual truth is, he actually was true. The manager got sacked,
did happen, yeah.
and he was there, and he was like,
How did the manager respond?
he didn't go down well.
Did he come back like
No, he
heavy
didn't.
duty, or did he just accept?
I think it was one of the ones we had to pull him in after and go, "You can't talk to me like that." And then he's just gone, "Don't matter." The relationship was fracas. Anyway.
Yeah, I guess
So
that.
it was, But and also the player that said it, you wouldn't probably fuck around with either.
Yeah, I
He
kind
was-
of gathered that as well.
Yeah. But I think that stemmed from, and I was touching this earlier. So we talk about losing the dressing room, and sometimes it's about whether it's tactics or it's not just going well on the training pitch, or the players just can't get to grips with what the manager wants. But sometimes it can stem from one thing that the manager said, like a press conference where the manager's just unloaded on the team. And it's a case of they was like, they was this, they was that. And sometimes the players might go, "Yeah, we was, but we're all in this together. You've sort of just gone, it was them, not kind of me." Like parting the bit of blame. Does that make sense? I mean, sometimes that can stem to then lose the dressing room a little bit as well.
And also, managers aren't blameless. Like I'm putting it on the players a bit there, but some managers obviously they're making poor decisions at times, and maybe are picking the wrong team, maybe taking the wrong players off, even talking to the players with a disregard and a disrespect. I've played for managers where one day you walk past them in the corridor, they say, "Hello, how are you?" The next day they don't even look at you. Like, you can't understand what's going on. Like, you don't. Sometimes some managers I've had don't speak to the players, and very rarely you see them.
Yeah, but do you think it's a route to success for a football club to be able to have a manager that the club sticks with for a long period of time? And look, this is a discussion that's happened many times. Is it actually, are football clubs too disposable with managers? Are you more likely to create a culture and team if you stick with a manager for a long period of time? And I guess what I'm saying here is, do you think you'll lose this idea of losing the dressing room if you know the manager's going to be there for a long period of time? Forces a football club to kind of work through issues or bad results. And it allows the manager to not have to come out in press conferences acting in maybe ways that they wouldn't normally to save their job.
But if you like, look at Chelsea, like if you're sitting there, if you're like Mudryk or whatever, who's not playing at the moment, what's he on, like 8-year contract or something? 7-year contract? You're sitting there and go, like, doesn't matter, does it? He probably will outlive the manager, I think that he's doing a good job at the moment. But previously, like, if you've got a long contract like that and the manager's having a bit of a nightmare, he's like, "See you later, mate. I'll try for the next one."
Yeah. I think that's a good point that you've said there. So if you say, for instance, if the manager signed a 4-year contract, the club have gone, like, there's a new rule now to say, listen, under whatever circumstances, he's going to be here for 4 years. So whatever you do on the pitch.
So don't act in any way, don't unionise, don't do any of this stuff.
I get what you're saying then, because obviously, like what we've all discussed there, players can just go, "No, we'll just wait for the next one." Because more often than not, when the next one comes in, there's an uplift. Everyone's
always
fine.
is.
There's always a fresh start. There's always a little bounces in there where you get a few results, but then sometimes it can go back down. Yeah, so like it's like Ten Hag at the moment, isn't it? Like with United, they're all saying that he's lost the dressing room. Is it a way back for team to get back. He spent so much money on players, but everyone's saying it because it's more a case of they've got all these players in, and there's still no identity of how they want to play. So that even the players are going, well, we don't know how we're going to play.
Yeah, but they're also saying he's lost the dressing room, almost confusing that message or just assuming that's the case because they expect Man United to have different results and therefore they expect a manager change. A lot of, by the way, I think, especially with Ten Hag, when you look at that situation, when people say he's lost the dressing room, it's an assumption because you boys are in the dressing room.
Yeah. The only people know.
Quite often when those noises come out though as well. But like a lot of those noises sometimes come out from agents and, like if someone's not playing, if a player's not playing, agents might do it. And the worst, when it becomes more fractious than ever, when actual real information does get out. Yeah. When you're a player in a dressing room and you think that did happen and that's out there.
So that's losing the dressing room. You're losing the sanctity.
Yeah, because you're like, how has that got out? We're here having a meeting. There's no staff. It's just players, and coaches and management team. And that meeting, what's been said has got out. That's obviously a fractious dressing room.
That's for me probably seeing what you're saying here is like the clearest sign that you've lost the dressing room, because the dressing room, as you've always described it, has been this place that stays between those walls. Yeah. You can kick a boot at Beck's or whatever, but it will stay in that
exactly
environment.
Yeah, exactly. Right, yeah. But like obviously they're not high profile ones, like you said there with Beckham and Alex Ferguson and Jaap Stam was a bad one, obviously as well. God, there's been a few over here. Ralph Rangnick and Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Ronaldo went on Piers Morgan and done an interview. Like, he was still a United player, wasn't he then?
Yeah.
Just got off.
Yeah, he just went and did it, didn't he? You're right.
Yeah, it's got to be hard because as a manager, obviously this always happens, as you said at the start, Karachi, this always happens when it's going bad. It never happens when it's going well. You don't lose the dressing room when things are going well. So when things are going bad, as a manager, as a head coach, you're trying to save your own job because you know something's going to be brewing, it's going to be looming. So you want to try and squash things as quickly as possible. So then you start overthinking it. Then you start changing ideas or not necessarily listening to players. The good managers listen to the players. Like you have some players that will go in and go, right, Gaffer, we just need to go back to basics on this. Whether it's going to be literally going back to what we've done as a youth team player, getting on as mannequins and going, right, when the ball's over there, we need to shuffle over here. These are all our spots. This is how we have to go. Let's not be open up to try and play the football that we need to play. Let's just go back to basics and just try and get points. I think that's why when your Sean Dyches have come in, your Sam Allardyces have just stripped it back, or Harry Redknapp's have come in and saved clubs. They've just gone back to basics, haven't they?
Yeah.
They haven't invented a new wheel.
Without sounding like old bastards, did you see a change whilst sort of retiring from football? Did you see a change in young players' attitudes towards management? A general sort of change?
I wouldn't say young players. I think young people have changed, right? It's not like the players. I think, of course the players have changed, but I think a younger generation of players now are different, certainly to when we came through, 1,000,000%. Different. They have different needs, different wants. I think they, certainly maybe a little bit more fragile with regards to how you talk to them. So you just have to talk to them with more care, more constructive. They've got more knowledge, I'd say now. Like they're more
they've got more power now. I think the youngsters have got way more power.
Yeah, but I would say they're more kind of knowledgeable as well about. I'm talking about they want more information. Yeah, they want to know the stats. They want to know
everything, analysis. Yeah.
So whereas normally that would just be under the umbrella of the manager, it feels like they're arming themselves with.
Yeah, I'll be honest. When we first started, we were just playing. I think all that thirst for knowledge came a little bit later. It was I want to know now what my stats are, how many tackles I've won, how many passes, where I can improve. Yeah. A lot more studious, I would say.
Yeah,
now.
Definitely.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah. I think when we come through, it was always a case of you get in, you get your head down. If this first team players speak to you, which obviously they will do, you speak back. You never really start a conversation. That was just how it was. Whereas now, the youngsters, because they get in so much in an academies, they're expecting it more so in the first team, which they get in the first team. But also you get a lot of youngsters now. I say youngsters from academy. Let's say they're young pros now, right? These young pros want a lot of money. Okay. And with a lot of money, you feel entitled. You feel like you've got a lot of power as well. So they can swan around the dressing room not doing what they like, but if things aren't going well, they'll be like, this is crap.
No, I think there's probably a root. Well, I mean, there is. You can see it. Like there's an aura, there's a confidence about the young players now, where they walk into a first team dressing room like they own the place, And I think we were no matter how good you were, you were still sheepish. Joe Cole, Steven Gerrard. I'm trying to think of Michael Owen, maybe. These were ready to go at 18 years old, and everyone knew how good they were. But I still think they still felt, if you spoke to them, the leaders in that dressing room, like I think maybe Paul Ince was when Stevie came in. Trying to think Paul Ince, maybe Ruddock, people like that around the place. McManaman a few years older than him. I think the amount of respect, John Barnes, I think he would have been very, very respectful compared to like maybe now. And I'm not saying they're disrespectful, but I think there's probably more confidence and more ability to be yourself rather than be kind of suppressed because you were young.
In losing the dressing room, do you think there's a responsibility of the captain to keep the dressing room?
Yeah, I think that's a big responsibility for the captain. Yeah.
For the manager or more for the players?
Yeah, well, if you're a manager, like you pick the captain, and I think you're not going to pick a captain that's like not on your side. There's a lot of politics going on, right? You need to pick someone that's loyal to you, but is respected by the players, and I think that is the role of the captain.
Yeah. There's been scenarios where you've definitely had this as well, where you might play away from home, and you might get beat, let's say 4-0, 4-1, 4-0 to a West Brom or an Everton away from home, and you're on the bus and you're going, and one table gets a little bit lively. There might be a card school going, or someone said a joke, everyone's laughing, and and sometimes if it's a bit too loud, you'll look down the front of the bus and you just might see the assistant manager or the coach just look back and give the glares as to say, boys, we've just been dicked 4-1, pipe down. All right?
Shut the fuck up.
Or sometimes they might even come down back to the bus or to the table and go, lads, fuck me, rein it in. Because obviously we know there's another week, there's another game, we've got the contract. They're thinking, a few more of these, our job's done.
Does the manager get on the bus last? Does it sort of everything get packed up?
No, I mean, he doesn't normally have to shower, does he? So he'd be in and around.
Manager doesn't shower?
No, not really. Not all of them.
Don't know why they would. But never really questioned it.
The odd time, but not often.
The managers was always the last one. Because
what do you mean the odd time? That's weirder.
Even the odd manager. So it's like one or the other. They would or they wouldn't.
What made them decide whether they had a shower?
I think it's if they're going to go out, maybe. Going to go
straight out.
Straight out on the razzle.
Straight for dinner or something.
That must throw you if you're in the showers and then suddenly the manager.
Yeah, but like now, the stadiums are that big that they got their own coaches' showers.
I find it unusual seeing colleagues from work in the gym, let alone your boss not dong out in the shower. It's just weird, isn't it?
I know what you're saying. Has anyone ever lost the office? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, I think that's such a good.
Do you know what I mean? Like, why is it only football?
I don't think
do you know what I mean? What? Do you know? People go round and go, "Fucking the boss has lost. He's lost the office."
He's lost it.
Yeah.
I think I don't think it's just work. I think it's family situations. I sit your father-in-law down and say, "I'm sorry, I think you've lost the family."
You've lost it. Yeah. You've lost the family.
It's fine. You've just it's like, I don't know, you've had a big night out or something like that. You're getting a bollocking.
Well, imagine, so your father-in-law comes down and he says to you, fucking hell, mate, you were out all night last night. She was worried sick of I'm not having it in you. Yeah. I don't give a fuck, mate. I've signed for life.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll be gone way before me.
Just on the manager on the bus thing, right? The reason why I ask if they're first on or last on, when you're in those situations where you know the manager's in a bit of trouble, right? And you might have just seen what they've gone and said to the press as well. I don't know how quickly it filters through, whether you're watching Match of the Day late or if it's quite immediate. When they get on the bus and you know they're in a bit of trouble, does the bus go quiet? Or is there a different atmosphere?
Yeah, when the manager gets on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But one for me, right? Harry's like, I love Harry, obviously. Like, I played with him at various different clubs. But when he was angry, you knew to be careful and not go too close to him or just keep your distance because he could go. When he goes, he could cut you down. He's some of the lines I've seen him do, like tear people to shreds because he's sharp.
Yeah,
and a couple of times I remember, might be laughing. We've just got beat bad, and Kev will have to come. Kevin Bond or Joe Jordan will have to come down, like just to let you know, lads. Gaffer's fucking fuming. And if he hears you laughing again, I think he's going to tear strips off you. So you'd be like, fucking hell, keep it down.
You just have a silent bus.
Yeah. Because that normally happens as well, because the manager is normally the last one that comes on, because the players get on, the staff, and then the manager will do the interviews, and then he'll probably go have a glass of wine or a beer with the other manager, and then they'll always get on. So it might be not laughing, joking, but it'll be a little noisy just from the lads talking, and as soon as you see the manager get on, it would just be quiet.
They normally say something, or is it straight?
No, it'd just be literally quiet.
Because what I guess I'm really interested in this discussion is like if they've lost the team know the manager's sort of on the way out. There's maybe a bit of disrespect even towards the manager.
Yeah,
it must be such an awkward silence because. Someone must make a comment or want to shout something.
Oh,
such an unusual situation.
I've had a couple of great icebreakers though, to be fair. I remember like a few times. I remember one particular occasion where we got like the fucking everyone got torn to shreds, and one particular player got absolutely like torn to shreds. And then obviously like he walks out, and he takes his staff with him, and then you're sitting there and everyone's really quiet. No one says a word, right? Have a head down and all that. And then one particular player was very funny as well. He went, remember him just turning around going, "You were shit today, though." And then everyone starts laughing. You were fat. It was fucking your fault.
I hate that. I hate that silence. I always remember it at school. I always remember, when there's been a real bollocking, like a real, and you're right, the teacher leaves the room.
Yeah,
then there's those couple of seconds there. And then it's a certain character, isn't it?
The icebreaker.
That says the ice. It's
and
the
it's so funny, and everyone starts laughing again. Do you know what, lads? We're not going to change it now. Do you know what I mean? You got to have a laugh about it. Obviously, it's serious, but you got to kind of break that down and get over it.
Yeah,
you've got to be careful as an icebreaker though, because remember from school, like there's a couple of seconds of silence. You've been bollocked. The teacher goes out. Icebreaker does their thing, but the teacher hasn't gone quite down the corridor.
When everyone's laughing.
Back for more.
Yeah. You get that could happen easy.
Did you ever get in trouble at school?
I was a lovable rogue. That was on my report. Yeah,
lovable rogue was on your report.
It was a lovable rogue.
It's a bit weird.
Yeah, I had an older brother and sister in my school, and I come from the same school, and they knew what to expect, I think, from me.
What about this one, Sid? Like I always thought sometimes you might have lost. Say 3-0, and the manager's fuming. Come in and he's tearing strips off everyone. Have you ever been that one where he's gone, look at him. Fucking different class today. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Look, running, like he's putting tackles in, he's working, he's getting on the ball, and you're the one in, and everyone else is fucking had a nightmare, and you've been singled out for praise in a bad performance. That is a good feeling.
Yeah. That is a good feeling. You don't really want to puff your shoulders out and do that. But inside you're going, get it.
Yeah. And then you get caned by everyone.
I was going to say,
the whole week.
Surely it's a good feeling whilst the manager's in the room.
Yeah.
The second the manager then walks out, icebreaker does their thing. And
It's
probably
like
next in line.
Manager's son and all that.
Yeah. I'll say it. Well done, you. Yeah, well done.
Yeah, well done, mate.
Did you ever see a manager always heap praise in that situation on the same player just because it was like just their go-to thing?
Yeah, standard.
Rather than them actually having a good game.
Tony Pulis had his favourites, and he was unashamedly I've told you about when he used to put the coats on us and all that. It's unbelievable. You're too important. He literally said in front of everyone, Matty Everington, get the coat on today, son. Get your flip-flops on. You're not training with these. Not training with these. See, you're too important for us. All the centre halves, obviously the centre halves are Hammerleggers, right? Yeah. You Hammerleggers out with me. He said, Matt, too important. He said, I've got to keep him warm. He'd have the big coat on. He'd stand next to Tony Pulis while everyone else is training.
But how good is that in terms of, because you could say that in a different dressing room for a different player, and they'll be like,
fuming.
you could like he knows the environment, he knows the culture, he knows he can say that and still be fine for everyone in the players. Even the ones that are probably not playing will go like, fucking hell, fair play.
Yeah, everyone loved it. Everyone
but
loved
another
it.
manager could say it to a player in a different dressing room. It could be like, fucking, that's bang out of order.
You know what? He's built a dressing room. He's built that community, that sense of like thing, and everyone's buying into it. And I had it a few times, the big coat on and stuff. Like I'm standing next to Pulis, Glenn Whelan, Matty Everington. Yeah, it's kind of making you feel special. But
if you've got the big coat on, I've had the big coat on.
Have you?
Yeah, there'll be loads of people listening to this that know they're their little favourite in their work. Occasionally, it's a great moment. Isn't it?
Email in if you've had the big coat on in your industry, whatever you do.
Yeah,
if you're a teacher's pet or the office golden boy or golden girl, email in
or the office icebreaker.
Yeah, or let us know, because in the office situation. Or have you lost the office?
Or that would be the dream scenario here. Get in touch if you've lost the office, and we can give you some.
And how you want it back?
We'll get you it back.
And also, if you think your boss may be losing the office, like not quite lost it yet, but he's made a few decisions and there's a few murmurings. Can he get it back? Email in.
Yeah,
I never know the email address.
peter.crouch@acast.com.
Right, lads, I really enjoyed that today, I have to say. I just want to do a few listener messages.
Go for it.
One from Cameron. Hola, amigos. I did it. I found a paella for one. There he is. There he is. Yes. There's a picture of him there. Oh, my God. Look at him.
He's thrown out. He's posing
so
with the paella. He's got
the one out.
He's got one finger up there to show it's a big old paella for one, I would say. Look at the size of that prawn.
I debate that. That looks like a two-jobber. Mind you, there's only one prawn.
Yeah.
Maybe
big old bastard, though, isn't it?
Big old bastard. Yeah, nice. I've just been on holiday with my squad. Met at Exeter Uni 2015 due to the luckiest uni accommodation allocation ever. They're now more my family than friends.
Oh.
We went to Mallorca. I know it hasn't mainland Spain, but Mallorca playing La Liga, so I'm counting it. My friends know I love the podcast and proceeded to laugh when I said all I wanted from the trip was them to try and find a loat and try and find a paella for one.
Wow.
Went searching every day with no luck, forced to Chumbawamba, and Lord behold, on the final night, the final meal at Royal Grill, look at the photo attached.
Royal Grill.
Look how proud he is.
Mate,
as well.
he's got his one
paella
out.
for one.
Well done, mate. That's fantastic, that. I'm yet to find one.
We should throw that out on our socials. It'll be up on our Insta stories. Paella for one there from this legend. I like when people try and do stuff from the podcast. Do you know what I mean? Like, we've talked about the paella for one. It doesn't exist, really. It's always a minimum two-person event.
But my thing was, I just don't understand why. Like, it's like they can't be asked to kind of, if we're going to make this fucking ball ache, we're going to do it for more people. Do you know what I mean? It's not like, it's like one person's not even worth.
They wouldn't let Crouch even pay for it. It was like, it's two-person minimum.
I said, yeah, I know, but I want to buy it. And I might leave some.
Yeah.
Nah. It's for two people.
Well, we found it. With the Royal Grill, was it?
Royal Grill, mate, in Mallorca.
There we go. Let's get there. Okay, we've got a message from Scott. Morning, lads. So I'm sat here on a Sunday morning in Canada watching Ipswich v Villa, and I see Kieran McKenna give some discreet tactical instructions to Sam Morsey. And it got me wondering, when your gaffer does that, and it's meant to be discreet, how does the captain communicate that without bellowing out the news? Keep up the good work. It helps me survive the shit traffic in Toronto. Shout out to the North American Kilmarnock supporters.
Wow.
That was from Scott.
Wow.
Well, the way around that
is... He's in Toronto and he's a Kilmarnock fan.
Shout out to the North American Kilmarnock supporters.
Looks that way, yeah.
There we go.
Oh, interesting.
In Canada. Ipswich v Villa.
Sid, you've been a captain more than me. How do you relay the information?
The obvious one is the pen and paper.
Notes.
Pen and paper is...
Yeah, but so the manager's given you the bit of paper and explained to you, right?
Yeah.
You take a look at it. Sometimes that then goes into the sock, right? Because you can't leave it lying around.
Yeah, or you're going to give it to somebody else.
But then if you have to go and tell every player what's going on, are you then expected to...
I don't think it's going to be... It'll just be 1 or 2 bullet point instructions, or they'll just...
What does it normally say?
Have you passed the note?
I don't know if I have. I don't think I have.
You've passed information, though.
Yeah, passing information, yeah. I don't think you can be discreet. I think
you donkey.
Day off tomorrow. Playing well.
Well, obviously when I come on as a sub sometimes, right, I would always be, the information would be like who you're picking up from corners, passing on, push someone on, like drop someone back, or, someone to get up and down, like, play higher up, that kind of information.
I don't think there is a discreet way of doing it. If you're doing real tactical changes. The way that the players do it now is a player will go down injured. And then as that player's getting injured, the rest of the team will come over. Happened to Wolves last season. Gary O'Neill has the iPad, gets them all over, does this with an iPad.
Oh, right. Okay.
Gary O'Neill done it last.
And then everyone heads towards the bench.
Yeah, Gary, the manager, it happened with Wolves. He got everyone over, or a good few numbers of them, and was like, whatever, showed them maybe exposing the fullback, or this is how we're going to play, or this is the next set piece. Happened, yeah.
Yeah, but the injuries, it's always been, since the start of time, it's always been like, a chance to get information across.
Mm. So, yeah, I don't think there's a discreet way of doing it, even if you are changing formation. That's the way it's going, but normally it's 4-4-2. Shout it out as loud as you can.
Hit a big man and feed off from there. Right, listen, lads, I've got an amazing photo to show you from Gary. He said, "Hi, lads, I know you love these. Here's one from my wedding a couple of weeks ago. As you can see, happily ever after. Everyone's ecstatic in this photo. We've got a picture of the bride and husband. And that whole C24, it's a Crystal Palace shirt, I believe. Yeah. Everyone, bride, maid of honour, best man. Looks like some family members, maybe a couple of brothers involved.
Year of their wedding. Yeah, it's just perfect.
It's just perfect.
The fellow on the end, is he doing an Ashley Cole, or is he detaching himself? He might be a Brighton fan. He's laughing, but he doesn't look like he's.
It's a potential there for an Uncle Knobhead on the end there. Everyone's got them at weddings.
But great,
he doesn't quite look like
the smile on the bride is great as well.
Really happy. She's really happy. She's really happy the long-term contract.
Please, if you're getting married, feel free to do this kind of thing.
Okay, one here. It's obviously one to finish on. Alex, he's got a sleep 11. Says, all right, fellas, sat in a pretty important meeting at the moment, but it's boring me to sleep. Naturally, I think to myself, what about a sleep 11? So here goes. In goal, Bed Foster. Pillow Ferreira at right back. Ben White Noise. Khalid Bula Snooze. Nicky Story. Quilton Fortune. Jamie Redknapp. Steve Sleepswell. Hey. Emmanuel added by Snore. Teddy Bear Sheringham. PJ Campbell. Managed by Pep Bed Guardiola. Okay, I hope you like this one, lads. We'll always try and think of 11s now. It's constantly on our mind, isn't it?
Good,
the 11s, but no, well done. That was entertaining.
Do you know the 11s where it's really useful? If you're trying to get to sleep and you can't, your brain's whirring, do 11s in your head. That's why I've learned.
Does it help that?
Oh man, it's really
does
good.
It
Make
me worse.
No, I reckon that'd keep me up.
Because I think you're concentrating so hard, you eventually
really
give yourself a little sleep.
like counting sheep.
I can better that. Oh no, I've got a better one than that.
But how do you get to sleep when you need to? Genuinely, weird question, but it's like
I really struggle sleeping.
Do you?
I imagine I'm flying a plane or like I have to imagine something.
Sometimes I go back through my golf shots.
Yeah. Do you try play courses? Do you try play courses?
Do that.
I went right, hole 1. I went driver, chipped on.
I do that.
Shit, that is good. I like that.
Yeah, but Crouchy, you can pick a course and go like, right.
You can play anywhere, couldn't you? You really could.
Give it a go. Report back.
Yeah, I will do. Yeah, I'm gonna play St Andrews. I'm going there tonight.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay,
good one.
All right. Cheers, guys.